Good afternoon. Today is the 3rd of June, and it's time for yet another not particularly interesting, very vague and probably quite boring vlog. So yesterday my lady wife and I got back from a trip to South Wales. I'd wanted to go to South Wales for some time. There was a collection of cars from the Grand Thrift Auto channel that I'd been offered in 2022 to film, and also a particular car that I've been waiting to film for over 4 years, that some of you might have seen on one of the community posts. And so, because my lady wife was going to an event near Cardiff anyway, I thought it was a good time to go down there. And I have to say that actually Wales is a fantastic country. I really enjoyed my time there. I always enjoy going to Wales, but particularly this time. It's such a rich country in terms of its history and culture. Got acting talents of people like Timothy Dalton and Anthony Hopkins and Richard Burton and poetry of Dylan Thomas and great hymns like Cumronda and things like that. And in case you're wondering, because of my surname, no, I'm not Welsh. I'm not remotely Welsh. The Lloyd family that my name actually refers to came over to South Yorkshire in the 1850s, we think, from somewhere in South Wales. So I'm not Welsh myself at all. I sometimes wish I was. But go there and they're just loads and loads of really friendly people and stunning scenery. Actually quite varied scenery. So go down to the Gower Peninsula near Swansea, where we did some filming with Mr. Charles from Grand Thrift Auto. I went down to Cosmiston Lakes, which is where I filmed the car I just mentioned. I've waited for 4 years. It's a very nice place to go. Went down to Penarthun, the marina there. That's really nice. Cardiff's actually quite a handsome city. I had the privilege of driving in the centre of Cardiff, which we'll come back to in a bit. And just, even the M4 itself is actually quite scenic. Going between Cardiff and Swansea, it's wonderful. I'm driving through Swansea on the sort of main road. I think it's mainly the A483, and then it changes if you go further west. It's really sort of interesting. You get down sort of to the coast and things. It's absolutely amazing. It's a fantastic country with some great people in it. It's such a rich heritage, and yet driving in Wales, it's rubbish. It's absolutely rubbish. I'm not talking about kind of taking a beautiful old classic car, which I had a chance to do on some great roads, because there are some really good, scenic mountain roads in Wales. I didn't quite go on a mountain road, but I went through the countryside, and that was pretty good. What I'm talking about is the M4 and the stupid 20 mile an hour speed limit. Whose idea it was to come up with a general speed limit that was 20 miles per hour for the majority of residential areas, it seems. I don't know, but it's rubbish. It's rubbish. It's no good. Like, you just end up, if you're running a manual, which I was, the section was a manual, you end up sort of basically, when you're going 20, second's not quite right, and third is too high. So it just sort of go along, and it's not just the actual speed and trying to maintain the speed. It's also the fact that the people behind you don't want to go that fast. They want to go faster. When I went to see Mr. Charles and visit him, there's a road that kind of goes up towards where he lives, and it's nobody wants to do 20 on that road. Nobody. But the weird thing is, there don't seem to be any cameras in the 20 mile an hour sections. There don't seem to be any. So, what's the point? Why? The engines, of cars, unless you're talking about electric cars, don't have engines. they're just not very efficient at 20 miles per hour. Like, most efficient speed's about 56 miles an hour. So 20 miles an hour is just not efficient. And all that happens is the buses get delayed because we had to change the timetables. We spent £17 million on changing all the signs, which haven't updated on Google Maps, by the way. So if you're just casually going along, you're thinking like, oh, it's like a 30, and Google Maps tells me it is, and then you realise you come along and there's a sparse 20 sign there, thinking, uh-oh, I'm going to get caught, aren't I, by somebody? And then they have this really strange thing that they've just sort of said that, like, the local authorities can change the speed limits back if they want to, but only if the sort of central authority says they can do it. Might as well just say no. I just don't understand it. But there's a whole business of the M4 sort of going past sort of Newport and Cardiff. The road's just completely inadequate for its purpose, and most of it's a 50 miles an hour speed limit. We had the misfortune of getting stuck in it at about 4 o'clock on a Friday afternoon, and it was absolutely horrendous. I was thinking, like, this is the main road in and out of South Wales. Most people who are going to Swansea and Cardiff and places like that, Talbot, they're going to come from the east because that's where most people live. So they're going to have to go down this road, and it's completely hopeless. Like virtually all the traffic, and I've built in the 70s, 80s that bit of the M4 was built. It's just completely inadequate. And they were going to build a relief road, but they cancelled it about 2018-19. Thinking, why? It needs it. It's just desperate. Like, this is a great country. I want to come and visit the country and visit great people like Mr. Charles, and, you know, one day possibly go and visit Ian Seabrook, who lives even further down the coast. But I don't want to because the road's so bad, and I have to drive at 20 miles an hour with people tailgating me and thinking I'm going to get caught by a camera. Why? Why it's like such self-inflicted wound. Public transport in Wales seems to be really hit and miss. I was speaking with a chap called Lawrence, who owns the car I've been trying to film for 4 years, and he was just saying, you know, the trains aren't great. They're supposed to be putting a Cardiff metro system, and they haven't done it yet. And in the meantime, they keep building lots of new housing estates, and they don't build the infrastructure. So it's like, how are people supposed to live in these new houses they're putting up if they don't have the infrastructure? So they have to go by car, and you end up queuing to get into Cardiff in the morning, every morning, because people don't want to go on the train because they're very crowded and they get delayed. Now, I've not got a problem with going by train. I would much prefer to go by train to various places. Driving centre of Cardiff was all right. I mean, the Cardiff Bay Link Road is amazing. Like, for some reason they never finished it. I don't know why. There's just like a little ski jump at one end of it. I don't know why that's there, because the rest of the road is pretty good. But anyway, you get in the centre of it. It's a lot easier to get into, say, Queen Street, where I sort of parked, than you know, going to central London. That's pretty easy for the side we were coming with. But there was, you know, tons of things like random one-way systems and very prominent cycle lanes that I saw 2 cycles using during the 3 days that I was in and out of the centre of Cardiff, and box junctions with cameras and all sorts of things, and bus lanes that didn't seem to be used. It's like, again, why? Why are you doing this to yourself? Why are you spending all this money to make things essentially worse? You know, you should be able to take the train into Cardiff. In fact, I think next time I go there, we were staying a place called Dinas Powys, I think it is. It's about 15-20 minutes from the centre, and you know, it's all right till you get off the link road. It gets a bit confusing. It's not too bad though, but I would prefer to go by train actually, because it was £15 a day to park, so that's an incentive in itself. But I'm not sure I want to, because I've heard the trains aren't very good, so we end up just driving in and having to cope with weird sort of lanes and traffic lights and things like that, and where I think there've been accidents because people don't know where they're going. And the worst thing about driving is not knowing where you're going. That's really the sort of worst thing. And so, you know, I want to go back to Wales. What must I do? Because for one thing, Mr. Charles has more of his lovely collection that he's hoping to get on the road, and maybe I can go and film some of it. But generally, just going to Wales is great. I love going there. It's a wonderful country with some great people in it. But what are they doing to the roads? What are they doing about the Cardiff metro system? What is going on? Anyway, that was a sort of rant worthy of Mr. Hunter from the Jeff Buys Cars channel, who I know also doesn't like the 20-mile-an-hour speed limit in Wales. If there's anyone who actually likes the 20-mile-an-hour speed limit in Wales, just let me know in the comments section below, because I haven't heard a single person who says anything positive about it. But thank you ever so much indeed once again for watching. Please don't forget to subscribe to the channel, like this video, leave a comment below, and we shall see you again soon for surprisingly kind of motivated ranting.